So I got a haircut, driving back, take a shower. I'm in the shower and I'm thinking, people compare themselves to other people a lot. And then I'm thinking, comparison is the thief of joy. I gotta make a video on this because I know people are doing this. And I've done it, but I'm not here to say that you aren't ever gonna not compare yourself to other people. But what I am gonna say is you need a strategy to get yourself out of that mindset. So what do? Let's say I find myself comparing myself to some guy on Instagram or a guy who has a certain amount of money, or it's just my perception of where they are in life. Well, then I'll ask myself why I'm doing that. And then I think, well, that's because I think life will be better if I was in that scenario. So this also ties into a video I made about the arrival fallacy, that you always think about the thing that you want and that is going to make your life better. But every time you get that thing, or most times, your life is the same. So it's really not about getting there. It's about the journey, even though that sounds cringe just saying that, but it really is. It's not about the destination. But yet, you want to get there eventually. It's this weird concept. I think even if we could agree that it's about the journey, I don't know if we would purposely just never get there. We would want to get there, but we want to set another goal so that we can stay on the journey the whole time. And this is, I think, an issue when people get to the top, if we're just talking about money. They get to the top too fast. Because where do you go from there? And the problem was they put their identity in the money to begin with. So even if you made it to the top for money, if that's what your identity was built around, then you're going to have problems. You need to have other things. If you wrap your identity around the money, that's all you are. And if you get to the top, and I'm quoting this because there's this imaginary income level or life that people imagine that is the top. And it's pretty much the amount of money where you can just do whatever you want. You can drive whatever nice car you want, but wanting something is a desire. And when you have a desire, that by default puts you now into a dissatisfaction mindset because you don't have that thing. And you have to return back to reality after the moment of thinking of it, back to what you are now. And then you have this immediate dissatisfaction with where you are. Makes you feel bad, if we're going to use that word. And that's terrible. Puts you into the opposite of an enlightened state of mind. You look at the pessimistic side of things, not the optimistic things, or optimistic side of things. So, the point of this video, stop comparing yourself and letting it ruin your mindset, or ruin your day, or a week, or a month, whatever. The point of this video is not to make you stop comparing yourself, because I don't know if that's possible. I think you're always going to look at something and be like, once I get that thing, then things will be good. But you have to create a system, a mindset, something that will pull you out of that type of comparison mindset fast and get you back into being present. See, in that moment, you're not being present at all. You're doing the opposite. You're just thinking about what you don't have. It's literally the opposite of being present, because you don't have those things, and they're not going to just magically appear. It's an interesting conversation about why we even compare ourselves to begin with. And I don't think social media has helped that. And I do wonder, back in the day when there was no social media, if you did compare yourself, to people worldwide or if it was just within your town. So I wonder if it was just the same thing, just on a smaller scale. But I think if you do have a heavy usage of social media in the wrong way, scrolling through social media instead of posting your own stuff, so you're using it, there's two different users. There's the person that's putting out information and the other person that's observing or reading it or taking in that information or picture, video, whatever. Most people are just consuming. And then there's a small amount of creators. So I think heavy social media usage when it comes to scrolling other people's posts will have you in this mindset longer. You've never scrolled Instagram and felt better after. Yet everyone keeps doing it. So that's another thing. I would say to stop scrolling social media. I would say people have an addiction to it, whether they want to admit that or not. So I don't scroll social media at all because I know these social media apps have built it in a way like a slot machine where, like, if you ever notice you pull up Instagram, nothing pops up right away when you go to the Explore page. There's nothing. I think it might be the same for Facebook too, but I definitely know it for Instagram. YouTube does the same thing. You have to be aware of these things, or else you're just going to be this robot, NPC they call them, whatever. You have to think ahead. Why am I addicted to these social media apps? I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but that's fine because it's coming to me and I want to put this information out. So it's like a slot machine. You don't know what's next. You're scrolling Instagram, you don't know the next picture. Facebook does the same thing. I don't have Twitter. I think Snapchat does the same thing. It's all scrolling. You don't know what's next. It's a surprise, kind of like a slot machine. YouTube, you go on YouTube, nothing pops up right away. The image frame pops up when you go to the homepage, and then it all pops up at once. It's this hit of dopamine. So the more you watch YouTube or Instagram, your dopamine starts high, and it slowly becomes less and less and less. It's kind of like eating that first Dorito versus the 100th Dorito. The first Dorito is a lot better. It hits a lot harder because it's basically a drug. And you keep chasing that dopamine. You're not getting it. So at some point you just stop consuming the Dorito or the YouTube. So that was a little bit of a tangent, but I think all this information that I'm putting out can be used to benefit your mindset and help you live a life of higher quality because you're choosing things that are benefiting you more than things that aren't. And you're creating a system within your mind to help you live the most fulfilled, high quality of life. And your perception creates your reality. Perception is just your mind. So the mind is very powerful. We've all heard that the mind is stronger than the body. And it's really true. I'm not going to say a percentage. Some people will say when you stop, you really have 60% left physically. I don't know. But the mind is definitely in control most or all of the time because that's what's connected to your body. Your brain is signaling it. That's your mind. So it's an interesting conversation. That's all I'm saying. And I think comparison, bringing it back to the first point, the main point, comparison is the thief of joy. And for those of you that don't understand what that fully means, when you compare yourself to somebody else, it could be, first of all, it's just your perception of what that person is. Maybe it's off of social media or you actually know them in person. but it automatically puts you in a dissatisfied state of mind, because when you compare yourself, you want something that that person has. And when you want something, that is a state of desire. And when you desire something, that means you automatically, by default, are in a dissatisfied point in your life, or that moment. It puts you down. You're no longer elevated in your mind. So I think that was a good video to put out, and somebody out there will be comparing themselves, and they'll watch this and they'll understand that, or hopefully they understand what I'm saying, and it's going to help them get out of that state of mind of wanting something that someone else has, or something else, wanting something that someone else has, and instead being present with what you have now, because that thing most likely is not going to be what you think it is.